Let's go to Marco Rubio, Senator Marco Rubio from Florida. Good morning, Senator. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Just was talking to Donald Trump about that new poll coming out on CNN showing a big move for you as well. You think this is your breakout moment?
No, these polls don't really mean anything at this stage, George. You're a veteran of campaigns, and I'm not sure the mid-September winners are where you want to be, obviously. You want to do well, and they're relevant because they're deciding who gets on the stage, but they're not really going to decide this election, and I've always said that. So obviously everyone's happy when they see a poll that shows there's some movement, but it doesn't really mean anything, and it won't alter the course of what we're doing.
You still got, though, these outsider candidates in the top three positions, Donald Trump, Carly Fiorina, Ben Carson. What do you think that's about, and what can you do about it?
Well, it's about the fact that the disconnect between Washington and our people has never been larger than it is right now. I mean, people feel like political leaders in both political parties are completely out of touch with their lives. And you saw some of it reflected in the debate the other day. I don't think it's limited to the politicians. It's also the media. We had a 3-hour debate, no discussion about the national debt, very little about the economy. It was a constant he said, she said, what do you say because so-and-so called you this name or that name. And quite frankly, it might be entertaining for a few minutes, but there are people out there living paycheck to paycheck. There are young Americans that owe thousands of dollars in student loans. None of that was discussed the other night. And I think it's disappointing to people that while they are struggling, the political class, Washington, the media, and everyone else is focused on some of these other things.
Hillary Clinton's going to join that debate this week. It reported that she's going to go on the offense on Obamacare, strong defense. You and the other Republican candidates called for repeal of it. You believe that's going to be a liability?
For her?
For you?
Absolutely. Well, no. I mean, I don't want to just repeal it. I want to replace it. There is no doubt we have a health insurance issue in America. I've outlined exactly what we would replace it with. And that is a plan or a program that allows every American to control their own health insurance money, whether it's a refundable tax credit or it comes from their employer, and they can use it to buy any health insurance they want anywhere in the country. It would make it portable. It would allow them to buy across state lines. We would have high-risk pools for people with pre-existing conditions that are chronically ill. We've outlined a proposal that is much better than what we are seeing now, which is increasing premiums, limiting coverage, and discouraging businesses from hiring people.
You just heard Donald Trump, but he's not going to weigh in on whether President Obama was born in the United States, whether or not he's not a Muslim. I see you shaking your head.
Well, I'm just tired of that. This has nothing to do with the future of our country. These issues have been discussed ad nauseum over the last few years. It's a big waste of time. Barack Obama will not be president in a year and a half. It's time to start talking about the future of America and the people that are at home. And every time we spend, I mean, I'm more than happy to answer your question, but every time that we discuss these sorts of things, we're not talking about the family who's out there trying to make it. They don't know they're going to make it to Friday before a check bounces because they don't have enough money in the checking account. I mean, those are the issues I hope we'd focus on, but I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, so I take it from your question, you accept that President Obama was born in the United States and is not a Muslim?
This is, of course, he's born in the United States, he's a Christian, he's the President of the United States for the next year and a half, and we're going to move on. This country is going to turn the page, and this election needs to be about what comes next. And what kind of country will we be in the 21st century?
Big geopolitical challenges as well. You talked about Syria and Russia on Wednesday night as well. Let me ask you the question I asked Donald Trump. What exactly would you do about the fact that Vladimir Putin has now put combat aircraft and surface in Syria?
Well, first let me say, I mean, I've listened to Mr. Trump discuss it on a number of occasions. It sounds like he thinks if we just have someone who gets along better with Putin personally, things are going to work out better. It sounds a lot like the reset with Russia that the president tried to do. I guess he's advocating for a reset with Putin. But Vladimir Putin has a very clear plan, and that is to reposition Russia as a geopolitical force, at least at the same level as the former Soviet Union. This is part of that plan. He senses a vacuum in the Middle East. He talks to the Egyptians, the Saudis, perhaps even the Israelis and others who feel like America is retreating from its commitment to the region. A lot of it being because the president says so, that we're not going to get overly engaged or entangled, as he has said in the past, in the region. And he's taking advantage of that. So he's positioning combat aircraft in Syria. You will see them fly combat missions soon. And then I think you will see, I believe, even before the end of this month, when the General Assembly meets, you will see Vladimir Putin go to the UN and tell the world that he is going to lead the anti-ISIS coalition.
So what would you do about it?
Well, first of all, we would lead. I mean, that's the point. He's trying to fill a vacuum. All of those countries would prefer to work with the United States on an anti-ISIS coalition. And but they see that we're not really committed to it. They see these airstrikes that are not, quite frankly, as vibrant as they should be. They haven't seen the United States bring together a Sunni force to confront them on the ground. They see this lack of clear plan and strategy with regards to what to do with Assad in Syria, and the result is this vacuum has been created. Vladimir Putin is filling it. If I were president, we would fill that vacuum, and I am confident that if given a choice between American leadership and Putin leadership, that region will choose American leadership. But given the choice between no leadership and Putin, they're going to choose Putin. That's what's happening now.
You've been taking some questions at the debate on your Senate attendance record, missed votes, and you were pretty clear that you're missing votes because you're running for president. So how do you respond then to Mike Huckabee, who said that senators like you don't show up for work because you're running, should be by the taxpayers?
Well, first of all, my work is not just showing up to the Senate floor and voting. I mean, we have constituent services that we continue to provide, there are committee hearings, all sorts of other functions. The voting is just one part of the overall job of the Senate, and all those continue unabated in our office. Second of all, here's the bottom line. When you run for president, you're going to miss some votes. That's been true. We try very hard to be there as much as possible. For example, the other night we had a vote in the Senate on Monday or Tuesday, the night before the debate. I had to fly across the country for the debate the next day. We did that because it's important to be there. We'll be there again this week for key votes. But ultimately, I'm not out playing golf. I'm not out vacationing with my family and missing votes. I'm running for president. I am trying to do something for, I'm running because I'm trying to do something to change the direction of this country. And I've concluded that we're not going to do that without the right person in the White House. And that's what I want to do for the country, and so that's why I'm running for president, and it will require me from time to time to miss a vote here or there in the Senate.
Pope Francis coming to the United States this week, his first visit to the United States, first Pope ever to speak to the Congress. I know you agree with the Pope on the issues of abortion and marriage. Many conservatives have criticized him for his views on climate change, income inequality. Rush Limbaugh even suggested he's a Marxist. One, do you agree with that criticism, and what do you hope to hear from the Pope this week?
Well, I'm a Roman Catholic. For me, the Pope is a successor of Peter. He's the spiritual head of the church who has authority to speak on matters, doctrinal matters, and theological matters. And I follow him 100% on those issues. Otherwise, I wouldn't be a Roman Catholic. And so I believe that deeply. The Pope, as an individual, an important figure in the world, also has political opinions. And those, of course, we are free to disagree with. He obviously opines about his views of the church's role or what we should be doing with the climate or things of this nature on the economics. Those are issues that the church talks about as regards to their social teachings, or the way you balance government with society. On the social teachings, essential issues, the sanctity of life and things of this nature, those go deep to the theology of the faith, and I do believe those are binding, and I believe strongly in them. On the economic issues, the geopolitical issues, the Pope is just trying to bring people together. That's his role as a spiritual leader, and I respect that very much. I have a job as a United States Senator to act in the best interest of the United States and of our people. And from time to time, that may lead to different opinions about different things. But I have no problem with the Pope, and I wish he would meet with dissidents in Cuba when he's there this week. But I would reserve judgment to see what he says when given the chance to address the public there. My hope is that he will discuss human rights and freedoms.
Senator Rubio, thanks for joining us this morning.